What do you guys think about this Colbert stuff in the news?
Colbert, I think it's very interesting. So let's go through it for a sec. Like, you know, I'm actually a fan of Colbert. I know he got liberal and people had problems and all that stuff, but Colbert, as far as a talent,
remember where he comes
real
from
deal.
with the Daily Show.
Yeah, well, he also comes from Strangers with Candy. Colbert was a hell of a sketch artist, a hell of a comic, a hell of an improv guy.
This could be just the internet being the internet, but his show on CBS was canceled. Now, it wasn't canceled because of low ratings, right?
So let me give you the. So I went down the rabbit hole.
Let me tell you, because what I heard is he actually, compared to Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel, he had high ratings than both of them.
Yeah, he gets about 2 million. So his show gets about 2 million viewers, and in the coveted time slot,
wow.
Yeah,
that's not bad in today's standard.
Compared to 50 million back in the day, it's nothing. But compared to,
but
I'll give you the numbers. So between 18 and 49 or whatever, that golden demographic, he gets about probably 250,000 people. That's a lot. It doesn't seem like a lot. If you compare it to Fallon, who is getting something like 1.1 million.
Oh, wow.
Very small. Wow. If you compare it to James Corden, who got canceled, it was even lower. If you compare it to...
What about Jimmy Kimmel?
So if you even compare it to Kimmel, Kimmel was getting about 1.617. Okay?
Can I tell you something real quick?
Yeah.
I think besides Jimmy Fallon, Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel, no one suffered more from Trumpism.
Yeah, so I'm going to get it.
Because their show turned into this just anti-Trump show, which... Whatever, do your thing. I get it, and a lot of people don't like him. Trust me, there's a million reasons. I get all that. Theory. But when you're a comedy show and people want to escape from what's going on with the world, and that you look at Johnny Carson, who never did that. Jay Leno never got into the politics. David Letterman never got into it. When that was their only narrative, and they became consumed by anti-Trump, I think most people went, "I'm good, man."
It wasn't just that. And here's another theory.
Colbert's talented.
Colbert's very talented. He'll have a podcast and all that. But it wasn't just that.
No, I don't feel sorry.
You gotta, we'll get conspiratorial here, but I'm gonna go through.
Oh, let's do it.
Colbert started having on the podcast people.
Show or podcast? On
his show. People who were very critical of Israel. People who are also very, very, very vocal about Israel committing quote unquote genocide and things.
Now, like actors.
So people like Adam Schiff was on. He had different things, but they also had different like pundits that were coming on. And Colbert was sort of giving a lot of voice to an alternative point of view that was not conservative. Okay. And part of it was after October 7th, there was a lot of anti-Israel, anti-Jewish energy out there. A lot. More than I've ever seen in my lifetime. Well, Sumner Redstone's wife, I can't remember her first name, but Mrs. Redstone is a fierce Zionist. She is a Jewish woman who owned Viacom. Remember, Sumner Redstone owned Viacom with no debt. One of the richest men in the world, and his wife, after he died, inherited that. She has just sold that to, see who, Sherry Redstone, see who she sold the entire
you went way down
CBS
the weeds, huh?
But listen, it's very possible that the person that bought it said, I don't like this. I don't like it. I'm going to actually buy the whole network and fucking take it off the air.
I think he also...
I'm just saying that, by the way, everybody, I'm just saying that is not my theory. That would be the theory from Jewish intellectuals who are on a show called Commentary Magazine Podcast. So I'm just telling you.
Go to annual salary of late night hosts. Because with those.
Well, he's making $20 million.
A year.
Okay, so $20 million. The other thing about that is, I'm sorry, but the other thing about his salary was he wasn't necessarily earning it, okay? He was
Jimmy Fallon makes 16. Colbert was reported at 15. Jimmy's salary was 15.
Yeah. But again, that's a lot of money. And when you're actually not as popular as you think, and the network isn't making that much money, there's also an economic consideration.
But I'd also say this. I also think that he got away from originally what he's supposed to be there for, right? Kind of an outlet of humor. And when he's just focused on all this Trump syndrome stuff across the board, the views are going down.
Yes.
They have high salaries, but also no one wants to talk about it. also regular network TV is dying in spades. So no one's really watching. So I think it's about time. B, it's just who do you think's next? Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel.
But don't underestimate the fact that people that own these massive corporations have a political point of view. And if they have people on their shows that they believe are swaying people in a direction that they find harmful to their interests, harmful to themselves, it is very possible that they go, you know what? You know what I can do because I have so much money? I can buy this network and I can just cancel that.
Yeah, but then also, like, maybe that is your agenda, but then also, if you took over the company, let's take the conspiracy out of it. You take over the company, you go, how much are we paying Colbert? $15 million a year? How many views is he getting? How are we doing on advertisement? And it really doesn't add up.
That's right.
Well, let's nix that.
Right.
And now
and it's on a downward trend.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
So it's not like they're
business-wise, they go,
let's do it now.
This is causing a lot of problems for me. I don't agree with a lot of the stuff they're having on here, and I don't have to have it on. I can just take it off.
Yeah, because she doesn't even do the whole, anti-Semitism, Jewish shit.
No.
She can just go, hold on, business-wise, this is about this company.
It's not just the anti-Semitism, it's the anti-conservative.
That's what I'm saying. We're paying them $15 million. The views are trending way down.
Yes.
Like, we can put these resources in something else.
Well, it's also conservative money.
It's also the
conservative money coming in and going, I don't want that guy on.
It's also the death of late night because, again, the TV, I haven't watched, I used to love it. I haven't watched in years, man.
Yeah.
Years.
If you talk to the Colbert people, I can promise you that they will tell you, I guarantee that the conversation is, we got canceled because of our political point of view. I can promise you they're saying that.
But also, what do you think was going to happen?
Right. I believe in free speech. I love that people have different points of view, but
hold on,
money talks.
But also, you work for a corporation, Bubba. You got this gig not to push any political agenda, and it's all you guys did for the last 5 years.
Let me ask a question.
Now, on the other end, even if he was super pro-Trump all the time, I would be like, dude, come on.
So let me ask you a question.
8 inches.
University of Chicago, different universities, Stanford, they've got professors that are straight up socialists and communists that are calling for the destruction of the university. They're actually teaching their students how to create disruption, and ultimately the goal would be to tear down the institution. To me, I would fire those professors.
Of course.
I would be like, hey, you, get the fuck out of here with your bankrupt ideas.
Of course.
But they're talking this way to their students in public. I'd be like, nah, I don't want.
There won't be any longevity with that, and someone's going to fire them.
After a while, you get people who go. The conservative money, and the conservative money is already buying up these things and deciding what they're controlling the narrative because a lot of people feel they have to. So it's a war of money. It's back and forth.
Everything is, Bubba.
It is, and you piss off people like Ackman and these guys. You know, he's the biggest hedge fund manager in the world. His daughter went to Harvard and came back a total communist. And he's like, what the fuck is going on? Guess
Brainwashed.
What? I'm not giving you money anymore.
No. For Colbert's long time coming. It's just a matter of time, whether it's this year, next year, 3 years. Late night shows in general, whatever the political agenda is, it's over.
The guy who owns the Los Angeles Times, he bought it kind of ostensibly for his daughter, I guess. The same thing with Bezos. And the Washington Post, Los Angeles Times are losing money because they are so liberal. And he went, you know what? We're done here. You're not writing shit people are reading. You're not doing anything. Your newspaper makes money because of the crossword puzzle. Fuckface.
But let me ask you this. When you go through all these liberal and far left things and their agendas, can you name one that makes money?
So the New York Times makes money because of their crossword.
No, I know, but I'm saying when they have that outlook on life, can you name one business that's making money?
It's not great for money.
No.
It's just not, especially mainstream.
Across the board.
Well, no, I would say this. There's always room for a liberal point of view. There's always room for a left-wing point of view, and we should have it. What there isn't room for is when you're being dishonest and when you're reporting stuff that isn't true. That's what CNN
got in trouble. Speaking of liberal and left views, how's CNN ratings doing?
Because they were printing bullshit.
But it was also the Trump syndrome too, where it's all they ran on.
All you got to know about CNN is they had a ticker that showed
count.
COVID deaths, and it was going like that, and it was all a lie.
Yeah, fear
It was
cells.
all a fucking lie, and they knew it. They did it because they knew it got ratings.
Yep.
When you do that to Americans,
It's
they
short-sighted.
go, "I don't trust you anymore." When you say that Rogan took horse dewormer, when you say that the vaccine does this, when you say all these things,
People get off.
and people go, I'm living out here trying to make a living. You destroyed my business with your false information.
Yeah.
I built a business for 30 years, and with your disinformation, your mainstream disinformation
ruined
about
it.
COVID, you ruined my business. You kept my kids out of school. No.
Yep.
And we listened to Gavin Newsom. I've listened to Gavin Newsom now twice on the Sean Ryan show, and I think on Charlie Kirk, or he had
Charlie Kirk went on
I got to
his.
tell you, it made me more sympathetic to Gavin Newsom in that he runs the 4th largest economy in the fucking world. It's the biggest state. He's responsible for 40 million people. That ain't an easy job. And he probably is a lot more aligned ideologically with me, with you, than you
I don't know
realize.
about
He's
that.
a businessman.
Maybe, but then also he's just not doing a good job.
He's got very valid criticisms of the Trump
He can be a good
administration.
guy, but he's not doing a good job.
I just think
they lead the country in homelessness and unemployment.
Well, so
he's just not doing a good job.
Part of that's also that
Also, you got to realize when he's on Sean Ryan, like I listened to it too, and I went, all right, he's not the biggest piece of shit in the world, but he's still up there. But when you watch it, you're like, all right, I can get some of this is tough decisions. But remember too, he's a fucking career politician. He knew that stuff was going to be brought up.
Yeah, but he makes a good argument. I think his criticisms of Trump and ICE are valid in California. There are some very valid criticisms or things to look at. We don't want to be. It's really important not to be. I'm right wing. I'm pro Trump. No, don't do that. Be open to change your mind.
Fuck you, JD Vance, 2028.
Well, be open. We'll see.
But then also, I just think all politicians are trash. And then you look at what Trump's doing.
But they're not.
They are though. But then you look at
the job is much harder than you think.
Nah, I don't think it's that hard. But
it is.
Yeah, maybe. But that's what they signed up for. Cry me a fucking river.
I'm just saying.
But then also when it comes to Trump, like now he's fucking his fan base over for the first time. They're kind of turning their backs on him with the ICE stuff. Like even with ICE stuff, I'm kind of like, what the fuck are you doing, dude?